Hey everyone, welcome. 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, a little after 5, for Accelerators Org and Jeff Bruno's Financial Strategies Live. Hope everybody is having a good, what is today, Wednesday? It's beautiful here in Philadelphia. Nice little 67 degrees today, maybe around there. Beautiful, chill, fall chill in the air. It's time. Time to get the pumpkins and the koala and witch costumes. Those are my daughters. I don't know what my son's going to be. So hope everybody's having a good start off to the fall season. Let's dive in here shortly. I got a bunch of questions today. It's on my other screen. I'm going to look over here, but a bunch of questions. We'll jump in, and don't forget, guys. The typical finance, piece here is think about your cash flow. Think about your year end. Think about your, it's not our area, but think about your tax liability. Contact your tax accountant in October or early November. End of October, early November, and plan end of year. Make sure you don't have any surprises. Small business owners always get surprised. I've talked to a few of you. Don't have inventory that you're not tracking. You end up paying tax on it. And don't have, just be careful. Careful what you're recognizing, what income you're recognizing, and so on. So that's the tax side. Who cares about that, really? So let's talk about operational stuff. How do we make money? How do we create the most value for our business so that we can continue to grow and scale the business? So that's where I want to sit. First question is from Nadia Savyuk. Nadia says, I live in Chicagoland area and I want to go off on my own to a bigger salon and rent out chairs and suites. Only problem is I'm not showing enough of my money to buy something on my own just yet. I was wondering what I have to do to get there. Open a bunch of credit cards under my name. I'm a hairdresser and I want to expand my salon to a bigger salon with chairs and rent them out. So, Nadia, I believe we met online at one time, town hall or something, I think. Chicago area sounds familiar. So, I like what you're trying to do. So here's what I'm going to say right off the bat. Absolutely not with credit cards. That is 100% the wrong way to raise money. You'll be charged anywhere from 15 to 25% interest on those cards. Okay, to use that money, which is very high interest. The more balance you accumulate on your credit cards, the more your credit score will get hurt, because they look at the ratio of your income to your debt a lot of the time, or they'll look at what your average balances are and how much you're using out of your total credit limit, which usually is a proxy to what your income is. You can only get so much credit based off of how much money you're making. So it's this whole, it's the whole formula. I don't know specifically how the formula works, but what I do know is that you could see a decrease in credit, which could cause you to get higher rates, which could cause you to have, less availability to capital down the road in case you got in a problem with something. So, no, do not do credit cards. Save your money, put a plan together to save your money so you can get enough operating capital to put towards that when you're ready. Or potentially go to a bank that'll give you a $5,000 or $10,000 note. Sometimes they'll do that, a small note these days that you personally sign for. That's a much better option than credit cards. So that would be the recommendation. Next person is John Santiago. His question is, as a first-time founder, you have a few mentors and team members that have helped you build throughout your journey. You're introducing new people into the mix, which can almost always change the dynamic in a group. How do you manage egos in these situations? So John says he's a startup record label designed to support artists with services never offered through a label within the music industry. We are about to launch. Stuff is getting real. John said stuff is getting real. Well, John, I don't know the music industry at all, but I would assume that in that business, now this is an assumption, so be careful what you assume because it can make an ass out of you and me. So, but music industry, probably some egos, probably some real big egos that you're going to be dealing with. Either people who are helping you in the business because they love the industry or they're trying to do something, or the people you're dealing with, the clients. So I'm sure that's a problem. So I mean, this is not a financial question. It's really more like a coaching and a culture question. But I mean, my only thought to this would be is you want to set up sort of parameters around what your business is, what your culture is for that business, what you're trying to do. And then everybody hopefully can be a part of that and understand that and not impede the goals by what you're trying to set forth for that. I can't speak to it much other than that. Hopefully that's helpful. Next question, Kristen Pitts. Her question is, what is the right way to start a new business under another business? I have an apparel company, LLC, and plan to invest in a food truck business for my stepsister to run. If I have an LLC, can I get a DBA for the food truck, or what is the best route? So, Kristen, I'm not sure what you're saying here. You're saying you have an apparel company and you want to invest in a food truck for your sister. So do you want to do the food truck under your business as another business, as a subsidiary business? Or are you, I mean, those are two completely separate businesses, apparel company and food truck. So my initial reaction would be, hell no. Do not, by any means, combine those into one business under one LLC. That sounds like not a good idea. With food, you have various licensing, you have various cost structures, you have various employee concerns and risk. With an apparel company, you have inventory and you have different employee scenarios and shipping things, and I mean completely different risk profiles, and you need to have that in a different LLC. Let alone there's scenarios where you have to manage differently to those for operating profits and so on, and you gotta keep it separate. That doesn't make any sense. So I would keep it separate, and I would also I mean, setting up a DBA is easy. Doing business as, you could do that under any company. So you could set up a name for your apparel company, or you could set up a new LLC and set up a name for the food truck company. And also, if you have an LLC already, you have some value for the LLC. So if you invest and then bring your sister in, I'm sure you want to give your stepsister some equity in the business. Then there's a taxable event because you're bringing your stepsister in. If she's not paying into your LLC, I mean, crazy. Start from zero, invest. That gives you your equity component. Your sister is the other equity as the founder or whatever, and you just start at zero. That way you have no tax scenarios. You have nothing to worry about. You set up an operating structure and move forward. Do not do the same entity. Okay. All right, next question is from my guy AJ. Hey, is this right? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Oh, it pops up there. Yep, sorry. Okay, yes, next question is from AJ. AJ Coots. He's on my lives a lot. He has a lot of good questions. He asks, how would you pursue an overdue accounts receivable with a client? Former client owes us about 1.5 months of retainer for work performed in good faith. I've pursued this for about 2 months and they haven't responded to any inquiries. In hindsight, I shouldn't have carried on in good faith for nearly that long before I needed a retainer, but I was caught off guard because things were running well. What do you do in situations like this? So AJ, we talked about this on our last live, but just to reiterate, Yeah, I mean, you can't go out that long, like you said. I mean, that's the right way to do it. You just can't go out that long. I had that mistake starting my business early on. I actually went out real long on a receivable, $22,000 on a receivable. Major mistake. Went out really far, and I didn't get it. So I had to write it off. So, and if they're not responding, then they obviously either didn't like your work, which I doubt, or they're strapped, or they're just avoiding you because they don't want to pay. So chalk it up as a loss, move on, and don't do any business with them again. And be careful not to allow people to do that. Now, one way I avoid that in my business is I have people sign an ACH form at the beginning of an engagement. If I'm a retainer-based construct, and I say, I'll do the work for you, but I'm going to pull the retainer at the beginning of the month, every month, out of your bank account, sign this form. Now, not everybody wants to do that, but I get about half of a little bit more than half of clients to do it. So that helps you avoid those problems. And so those are some ideas. Stephen Davis is the next question. Stephen says, do you let your executive virtual assistant read your email? Business description. I've heard many business owners, CEOs allow their EA, VA to read their email. In theory, it would be great to have someone sort your email, but does that work in practice? Do they read your email and delete the ones that are not relevant to you? Do they respond to emails on your behalf? Do they add items to your to-do list? How do you know if they deleted an email that was important and not respond to an important email? Is this a task that I should delegate or keep doing myself? I run a PEO and HR consulting firm and receive about 100 to 200 emails a day. Of these emails, 25 are actionable in a day. So, Stephen, I mean, if you're ready for it, 100% let the VA read your emails. Now, it takes a while. I had an assistant for a while, and then I backed off of it just because we went a different direction. But yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing you want to get off your plate is an assistant to read and respond to your emails. And you just set up parameters. Hey, real urgent if it's this, lower priority, low priority, lowest priority, and I want you to do this. Respond like, hey, he's busy, he'll get back to you within 24 hours. If it's this, he'll, we'll schedule within the next couple days, your request. Whatever it is, you set up parameters, and it takes a little while. I mean, it might take you 3 to 6 months to get the feel down in the scenario, but once it's rocking and rolling, you'll save, 1 to 2 hours a day maybe on responding and diving all around these different emails. So I highly recommend it. And let them read all your emails. What are you going to do? It's your business email. I mean, who cares? So let them read your emails and do it. And you should absolutely get to a point where they can help you, especially if you can afford it. So I love it. I'm all about it. Next question. Muriel Goodrich. Muriel Goodrich asks, should I be a 1099 or a W-2 right now? Her business. I currently give out opportunities rather than schedules. I am an event-based business. Yes, I know your business, Mira. And no one works if no one calls. As soon as I receive a call, I reach out to get my prime pick for said event and scroll down the log until I hit a winner. It is appropriately 2 to 4 gigs a month for top team members currently. Some HR and payroll companies say I need to make an immediate shift. Meanwhile, my friend that still operates my own cleaning business gives an actual schedule and has been giving 1099 for years. I'm confused. So, Mariel, I can't give you this answer. Sorry. This is really for Marsha O'Connor. This is an HR issue. This is not a financial issue. So, ask Marsha. Best I can tell you. I mean, I just can't help you. So, next question is Ricardo Delgado. Ricardo says, how can I start a company culture and build your employees to follow that culture? I'm looking to build up professional barbers within my barbershop. I'm building my brand business into a culture. I want to have my employees build their careers within the company. I'm having trouble finding where to market and what we benefit if they join us. Okay. So congrats on building a new business with the in barbershop with the culture. So I mean, this is a hard one, Ricardo. This is up to what you think. I mean, I would build your culture around you, and around your niche that you're offering to people. So if you do something that's different or fun or creative for your patrons or something like that that they can latch onto as a consistent thing, maybe do certain things every week that are fun for the team. Like, hey, every Wednesday is eat dinner while we're cutting hair at the place, or um, let's go watch a Phillies game or an Eagles game or something together. That's building, and then talk about ways to build in more customers, market together, because word of mouth is huge. Maybe your team starts to really like the culture they're hanging out with you there, and they'll bring in customers just by word of mouth talking about the business. So you want them to be your ambassadors locally, your employees. So that's your best marketing tool. Straight up marketing for a barbershop, I would hesitate to spend too many dollars on that. There's just so many salons and barbershops. I think it's going to be difficult. I would go word of mouth there. And the best way for word of mouth to work is to have your ambassadors or your employees talking about how awesome it is to hang out at your place, and maybe even you invite some of your clients out to some fun events from time to time, and that's your marketing budget. Like, hey, we're all gathering here, get a free cut while you're doing this. One time this quarter we're doing free cuts for 2 hours for charity while you have pizza. Who knows? But keep it fun, do it your culture, and build a local presence for you, and then you can start to expand. Next question is from Lloyd Brown, and he says, I'm an employee that has been with me for 3 years and came on board when my business was just beginning to expand and was a tough time. He created a loyalty and friendship, but as time has gone on, I feel his lack of motivation to continue to be a mover. He is my supervisor and does play an important role. I feel as if it's time for us to part ways. But at the same time, I need to examine what part I've had in this situation. What should I do? Have one final conversation to see if it can be fixed, or recognize the writing on the wall and put my energy into something new? The business description, a moving company priced right movers. I'm asking because I'm adding a new truck and software that will require additional training for my supervisors. I don't want to spend time training if the person won't be with the company beyond a few more months. Yeah, Lloyd, I mean, this is not only a tricky thing, but it's also a tricky financial question, because what is the financial scenario that can happen if this employee / friend up and leaves? Is it going to cause hardship for you? So you got to evaluate what the financial scenario is first. So, just to get it wrapped around your head. So if you get into a blow up situation and you're like, all right, we're done, get out, that it's going to see a decrease in your business by 20%, and you have enough cash to ride that out while you're bringing new people to train, because you have some downtime in training new people. So first figure out what that is. What is that cash hit potential? Then add 20% to it. I'm kidding, kind of, but figure that out. And then, this is the hardest thing, is a friend is starting your business and they're not motivated. Maybe they have other interests going on. One of the things that is good to do, and I know this is not exactly what HR groups, Marsha would probably kill me for saying this, my friend Marsha O'Connor. She'd probably crush me, but I'm a big believer in this, is kind of knowing what their personal situation is. Now, you can't directly ask them, obviously, what their personal situation is, but you can kind of figure it out. You can kind of ask around it and try to figure it out and see if it's a personal situation that they're dealing with. And if it is, maybe you say, hey, look, I don't know what's going on. Maybe you have some personal stuff, but would a month off help you recalibrate and get re-energized to stay in my business? Think about it. And would that really help you? And then maybe your friend was like, you know what? Yeah, I've been having some issues. I'm thinking about this. I'm not sure if I want to do this. Let me take a month off. Now they're not getting paid for that month, or maybe a very, very small amount. So, just to keep them engaged, but very small. So that they really realize, well, I need this now, but whatever it is, they start to think really about what it is. And they have some time to think. They're not busy all the time. So give them the space to think, because it's usually a combination of personal and work that's affecting that. So I would try that, but you can't ask directly, really. So try to work around it. But I think that's important because it always affects the work. And then if he says, you know what, I'm just not in it, and say, look, I understand it. Let's part ways. It's been great, and maybe you can help me transition some people. I'll pay you a little extra that I normally do to help you train up some people while you're looking for another job. And then it's a win-win across the board. So, good question. So now the last question, it looks like from Jenny Dawson. Jenny Dawson says, I think this is first time Jenny. Jenny Dawson says, should I pay the expense of business cards and uniforms for contractors? Business subscription. My business offers yin yoga, sound healing, and meditation services. As business evolves and I'm bringing on people to help me with events around the city, I want to make sure I am branding them properly. I'm having embroidered shirts made with my logo and business cards designed for the contractors. It is my responsibility as the business owner to purchase the shirts. Is it my responsibility? And business cards for the contractors, say by their own. So it depends on your model, what you're trying to do there. So I would think you should buy the stuff. Now they are contractors, so they get the expense write-off by buying the stuff themselves. But I think you want a uniformity. You want a presence. You want them to feel part of something that's unique in your business, your culture, and that they don't have to go do that, and they can buy it. That you buy it for them. I like that idea. I think it helps with again, the culture and the structure and all that stuff. And they are contractors. They're not W-2 employees, so it's not mandatory that you do that. But I think because of what you're offering a very people service oriented business that has to be very similar in the construct that it's offered. You can't have deviations in how that's going to be done. So you want everybody aligned, whether they're W-2 or contractor. So I think you want to have a consistency there. I can tell you, I did a similar massage thing with some sound and things out in Colorado. Holy jeez, it was really impressive. They were hanging from these ropes with their feet, massaging my back. And then they did real loud sound and then sort of quiet sound. And then there was just meditation a little bit. It was awesome. So if you're doing like some of that stuff, I love it. It was very relaxing. And yeah, I think that needs a consistency. I love it, Jenny. I'd love to hear about your business. Yeah, I think that's it. We didn't get too much in the financial weeds today, per se, about these questions. So please, for future lives, guys, send me specific financial questions. Like, hey, I don't understand my cash flow. I'm doing this, and this. Or how do I, like AJ Cooch usually sends me a bunch of stuff. How do I remedy an AR situation? How do I look at AR versus my AP? Maybe. Are there ways I can improve that? What do I do with deposits versus invoicing structures? What's a good level of money that I should have on an ongoing basis to operate my business effectively? Well, my margin is X, so how much should I have? Like, give me some specific financial questions that I can actually help you think through and set some metrics for your business, because Setting operational and finance metrics for your business are the key to your whole growth, so you can stay within parameters of things as you grow and not get out of whack. Because the biggest thing that happens to companies as they grow is they run out of cash, or they have cash problems in some way, or they have to push out vendors and the vendors won't deliver product to them, or they have to hassle customers for quicker pay and then customers don't want that and they don't come back. You got to have a system in place so you see the tolerances of your cash flow. Things like that. Ask me any of that stuff. That's what I'm here for. So, and these general business ideas are great. So, hope this was helpful. And hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon. And we will speak again soon. Take care. Bye.